Stephanie Roothouse, Director of Customer Marketing at Replicon. I'm joined by my colleague Scott Bales, our Director of Solutions Engineering, and Vanessa Pereira, our Senior Product Manager of Mobile. On behalf of Replicon, we would like to thank you so much for being a customer and for taking the time to join the webinar today on time tracking for today's mobile workforce. Before we get started, we just wanted to go over a little bit of housekeeping. You are on mute at this moment, and you will remain on mute for the remainder of the broadcast. We will do a Q&A toward the end of the 30 minutes, but we do encourage you to type in any questions you may have in the Q&A panel on the right-hand side at any time. We'll prompt you certainly toward the end when we do start our Q&A. So with that, I'd love to set the context here by actually doing two poll questions this time. The first poll question that we would like to present to you and ask that you respond to is, choose the phone platforms that are prevalent at your organization. Given we are going to be discussing mobile, we'd like to understand what mobile devices are in use at your organization. So you have an option of selecting Android, BlackBerry, iOS, Windows, and other. So Vanessa, as someone who lives and breathes mobile day in, day out with our customers, what do you project we'll see here?
Based on the latest market stats, I think I'm going to predict iOS as a majority.
Okay. And let's see, we're showing back the results on this one, and you are right, Vanessa. 67% did respond back to iOS. Actually, Android had a few more here, so it's close. Actually, that's very close. Android was 71%, with a few later votes, and then iOS is 67%. So it's interesting going as head-to-head here. All right, thank you for that. Now the next poll question we'd like to ask is, what percentage of your employees access Replicon through mobile devices today? So this is more in terms of using those devices for Replicon. Scott, your experience around this and working with customers, what do you think we'll see here? What are your projections?
Although we do see a large majority of our customers leveraging the mobile platform, the fact that the audience is here today to understand our mobile offering really tells me that we're going to be near the low end of usage when it comes to Replicon and mobile, because the majority of people on this webinar want to see what we have to offer.
Yeah, and Scott, you're right on. So 57% responded that between 1 and 25% of their users are using, they're actually using Replicon through mobile.
Well, that really leads us to the next step in this webinar, and that's presenting that mobile solution. So what we'd like to do in the context of these presentations is give you a fictitious scenario, and for the purposes of this run through, we're going to use a company called E.S. Williams. It's a field rep organization that has consultants and break-fix staff out in the field, geographically dispersed individuals doing consulting, doing break-fix, network infrastructure, that type of thing. These individuals are often remote, dealing with remote locations without connectivity and without internet access, and as a result, the only interface they have a lot of times is their mobile device. That might represent a problem for some products, but Replicon exposes that end user functionality through a smartphone, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. So I'm just going to share my screen momentarily with everybody. And what we're looking at here is our latest mobile app on the latest platform of Replicon. I'm going to first log in as an end user. So Scott B. is one of these field reps. I'm on my way to work at a client. I shouldn't say I'm on my way. I'm on my way to my next client, but I've just wrapped up at one. So I want to go into the mobile app and enter my hours for the work that I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and keep in mind the fact that I'm logging in is because I don't have single sign-on. If I did, I would be able to bypass this screen completely. So once I log in, I see options corresponding to my permissions within Replicon. I have access to time, expenses, and time off, and we're going to take a look at all of these from an end-user perspective. So as I mentioned, I'm leaving the client side. I want to update my timesheet. I click Timesheets. It shows me my open timesheets within the system. This week's is the only one that I have, and I've already got, if I click it, 9 hours logged for Tuesday. If I want to, I can always click into Tuesday and see what I entered time towards. Okay. And if I click Wednesday at the very top, I can now start entering more time to the existing tasks on my timesheet, or I can add a new task in the upper right-hand corner with the plus. This screen is going to refresh and give me a restricted list based on my permissions within the system. So I'm going to choose the client. And I was working on the dashboarding project for EXO Communications, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. I was working on some user training that they had outstanding, so I indicate that. It's non-billable work, so I'm not going to choose a billing rate, although I could choose from different billing rates in the system. I'm not going to because it is non-billable, and I'm going to go ahead and save in the upper right-hand corner. So now I've added that row to the bottom of my timesheet. I now need to add some time towards it, so I'm going to click the time box, enter the fact that I had worked 2.5 hours there, and go ahead and save that. Now, as a user, I'm not stuck just doing my time entry on the mobile device. We really want to provide all of the capabilities that you would have from the web as an end user. So what I can even do from the device is submit through to my approver. My timesheet. I may have been notified via email that it was due. I've gone ahead and submitted the timesheet for my approver to log in and approve. Okay. And we'll see what that process looks like in a bit. Before we do that, I realized that I need to book some time off in July. So I'm going to go to my time off section. I can see all my historical bookings here. I can even go to my balances button and see that I do have some vacation available, 13.07 days. So I'm going to go ahead and book time off by clicking the plus sign in the upper right. Choosing the type of time off, I'm going to say it's vacation time. It's a trip to Hawaii, so I'm going to enter the start date of this vacation. I'm going to move my calendar ahead to July. Enter the start date of the 21st, the end date of the 25th, just by clicking on it, saying done. You'll see an updated balance now reflecting the days that I've taken from my balance, and I can enter comments and then submit to my approver for his or her approval. Again, I see an updated status that it's waiting for approval, and you'll see that update or that status update as we go through the approval process in a moment. Now, on my way to the next client, I actually got a call from Stephanie, who is my manager, and she asked me to grab something for the client I'm heading to. Just as a thank you, they gave us a lot of business last quarter, so we want to just bring them a small gift. I'm also told that I can reimburse this expense. So I'm going to go into the expenses module. I've grabbed some chocolate for my next client, and I want to get reimbursed for that expense. So I go to my expense sheets and I add a new one. I'm going to call it as per Stephanie. As per Steph. I'm going to assume that today's date is fine and the reimbursement currency is fine. I click Done to create a new expense sheet and then click Save. Now, my expense sheet is created, but I don't have any entries on it. So I'm going to click the plus sign to add an entry. The project it's related to is the customer billing system that we worked on for Advantage Technology. So I'm going to click that. The type of expense is miscellaneous. And we'll leave today's date. In the description field, I'm going to say chocolates as a gift. Done. We're not going to build a client for it, obviously, but you'll see the receipt photo line. Easy for me to add a receipt photo here. I just click the Add button, and I'm going to say Take Photo. Take a picture of the receipt image. Click Use Photo. Hit Done. And now save in the upper right-hand corner to update. Oh, sorry, I need to put the amount in first. $9.99. Hit Done. Hit Save. And it's now updated my expense sheet with that one item. I can go ahead and submit this for approval to my approver. Now I've entered some time, I've entered some time off, and I've entered some expenses, all for my approver. I'm going to go ahead and log off at this point, and then log in as an approver to go in and approve those expenses. So log off, sorry. Log in as my approver, who's Jim. Some of you are seeing my super secret password as I enter it there. Please, please don't use it. So now I've logged in again as Jim. So I see the same capabilities as an end user. I see timesheets and expenses and time off because I may have to do all of those things as a supervisor. But I also see an additional aspect here, and that's approvals. And I also see an indication there, without having to drill down, that I have 7 approvals waiting. If I click the approvals button, I see my approvals broken out. I see timesheets, expenses, and time off approvals all waiting for me. I can drill in into any one of these, for example, timesheet, and I can quickly approve items by checking them and approving them down at the bottom. Or I can drill down into timesheets like Scott's for 11 hours. Something's wrong there, so I'm going to click on his name, look at his timesheet specifically, and try and figure out why it's only 11 hours. Obviously, Scott submitted this early, and I need to reject it back to him. So I'll just go back to this screen, choose the Scott timesheet for that period, and reject it. Now it goes back to Scott with any relevant comments so that he can make those changes. Okay. If I go back to this screen, I also have the same capabilities with expenses, the ability to see, review, and approve as required, letting users know once they've been approved through email, and again, when they log into the mobile app, they'll see those approvals as well. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and log in one more time as myself, we'll see that I now have clear visibility into the fact that that timesheet has been rejected. So signing in now and going to timesheets shows me that I have a timesheet that's been rejected. I can go in and I can continue to make changes now because it was rejected back to me. So we've seen the end user experience at this point from the mobile application, and we've seen the approval experience from the mobile application. What I want to do now is actually pass the floor over to Vanessa, our mobile PM, to get her thoughts on some new functionality that's up and coming.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to be talking to you about 2 new upcoming features. The first feature is called the punch in and out feature, which allows users to do a simple punch in and out to their work, or if activity is something that's enabled for those users, they can also select activities as they punch in. We also have the image capture capabilities to prevent buddy punching, and it will also have the GPS location capability, so you can tag your current location with each of the punches. Someone might ask, why do we need to capture images? So some of our customers have told us that buddy punching is a problem for them, so we want to make sure that the correct person actually punches in. So this way, if we capture the image with each of the punches, we can confirm it's actually me who punched in and not my friend punching in for me in case I'm running late, for example. This feature also has the capability of punching into breaks if that's something you want to capture. All of these are configurable, so if you don't want image capture enabled, you don't have to have that. If you don't want GPS enabled, you don't have to have that. So it's really up to each customer, depending on their needs, they can configure it. So I'm going to go ahead and log into the app here. And if you have this feature enabled, it will show you an attendance option in your main menu. And once you go to the attendance, you can clock in. So I'm going to go ahead and clock into work. Now this user account that I'm showing you today actually has everything enabled. So since activity is something my supervisor wants me to include with my punches, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm punching into a meeting now. So I'll continue with meeting, and since image capture is enabled, I'm going to take my picture here. Okay, I like that picture, so I'm going to use that, but I have the choice of retaking it if I don't like it. And then because location is enabled for me, it's going to tag my current location with the punch and punch me in. So now I'm punched in. And let's say now I'm going to go on a break. Since breaks are enabled for me, I can also go ahead and select the break. If I want to take a meal break, I would select that option. Since image capture is enabled for each punch in and out, I have to take an image because that's what my supervisor requested. So I just took an image, and it captured my location again because that's enabled for me. And it basically punched me into breaks, saying that, okay, now I'm taking a break. So it's quite a simple, very simple feature. And also, if you want to do a shortcut, so if you're working on, similar activities throughout the day, you could select one of these blue play buttons here to do a shortcut into punching in. So you don't have to go, if you have a long list of activities, you don't have to keep on selecting from that list. You can say that I always perform, task A and task B, so I'll tap on this blue play button, and there is an entry section to do a quick, switch. And then start new activity is similar. It's basically some customers want to have just a clock in and clock out happening at the beginning of the shift and at the end of the shift, and they want to do any activity that happens in the middle as a transfer, is a feature that they call. So we have that available for those customers. Now that I've punched in, okay, so let me end the break here. So I'll take a picture, I'll end my break, capture my location, okay, done. Now let's take a look at this from a supervisor perspective. So in one of our upcoming releases, the supervisors can log into the app and take a look at their team's punches in real time. So here I can see, who's come to work, who has punched in, what they're working on, what they worked on last or what they're currently working on. I can also see the images that the team punched in with, so I can take a look to confirm that, okay, it's the correct people. I can also take a look at their locations in real time, and so I can confirm that, people have the correct location and so on. I'll also have the capability to edit any punches. So for example, someone forgot to punch in, or if they, and they need, some of their punches edited, I have that option from here as well. The next feature I am going to show you is the shift feature. It basically allows a shift worker to see their shifts from the mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my current week, and I see that, I'm scheduled to work on Good Friday. So I basically take a look at the details. If my supervisor has any specific instructions for me for that shift, they can also provide that in the screen as well. And basically this allows me to take a look at, my shifts that are assigned to me anywhere, anytime. So those are the two features that I wanted to demo today. Thank you, Stephanie.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you, Scott. We are now going to transition into the Q&A portion of the broadcast. We do already have some questions that have come in through the Q&A panel on your screen, so please feel free to add more to those. We'll get started right away with them. The first question I have here is, how do I get it? So Vanessa, if we have customers here who are interested in using Replicon through a mobile device, what would they do?
So they can basically go to the app stores. So for iOS users, they can go to the Apple App Store and search for Replicon, and they can download it from there. For Android users, they can go to Google Play Store and download it from there. And if you want to participate in any of our upcoming betas, we have a beta program as well. And if you send me an email saying, you're interested in participating, you can also get some of our, upcoming features, a sneak peek at those earlier on through our beta program as well.
Thank you. A sort of follow-up question, does this, you mentioned Android and iOS, does this work on BlackBerry and Windows Phone?
So for BlackBerry users, the latest operating system for BlackBerry now does support the capability of installing Android apps. So we have actually published a version of our Android app actually on the Amazon App Store. And we have some users who are using our Android app on their BlackBerry devices. For Windows at this time, we don't have any plans to support a Windows app.
Okay, thank you. Here's one question that perhaps, Scott, would be best for you to respond to. Is this just for the SaaS version of Replicon?
That is a good question. So the product that we're showing today is our latest mobile offering. We did have a legacy mobile offering, but both of those are SaaS-based. And the version that we're looking at and the new features that Vanesha is focusing on today are being deployed to our latest version, but they are SaaS-based. They do not apply to our legacy on-premise products.
Excellent. And speaking of products, does mobile work for all of the products that Replicon offers?
Yeah, it does. You saw today a great example of a time bill user who had time off and also had expenses, but if I didn't have all of those products, the mobile app would simply not reflect those capabilities. And although I didn't have a time and attend version, it's the same capabilities, although I just wouldn't be selecting projects and client information. There's still a mobile offering for all of our products that we have in the market.
Okay. Here's one. For quite a while, the Android app did not work. Now that it is working, I am being told that the company has to upgrade to the new Replicon platform, the latest platform, i.e. Gen 3. What is Gen 3, and what is involved in the upgrade, Scott?
Yeah, so Gen 3 is just our internal nomenclature for that platform that I'm referring to, that Vanesha's features and my mobile app are connected to. It is a production version of our tool, and as far as the upgrade process, it really consists of us analyzing your usage of the legacy product, making sure that you are not going to lose any capabilities going to Gen 3. There was a couple of small features that we didn't bring over to Gen 3 because nobody was using them. So we want to make sure you're not using those features, and then it's an automated process to move your data over and provide some training to minimize the impact to your users. But we do all of the heavy lifting when it comes to that move. So please don't let that dissuade you from using Gen 3 and the latest version of our mobile.
Right, and Gen 3, again, is just the reference that we use internally for our latest platform, our latest cloud platform here at Replicon, just to make sure that's clear. What we're showing you today, this is what customers are using on our latest platform, except for the newer features like the punch in and out and the shift management that Vanesha showed us, which should be ready, available soon. Speaking of that, Vanesha, when do you estimate that customers will be able to access those two features, and when will they be released?
So the two features that I showed you today should be available in May for customers to use.
Okay. There's a question about data output. So you talked about the fact that this basically, mobile is supported with all of our products. So could you talk about data output? Can you talk about reporting, things like that?
Yeah. Obviously, the real estate associated with a mobile device, such as a phone that both Vanesha and I were using today, it doesn't lend itself well to a reporting scenario where you want to look at raw data outputs. Where we do see value from a mobile platform perspective is leveraging a tablet device where we have more real estate and we can produce some executive-type graphical dashboards. And those are future enhancements that we're evaluating. Right now, all of our reports can be scheduled and delivered to mobile devices for you to review. The formats for those reports are all supported on mobile devices if you need access to that data from a mobile perspective. So we don't prevent you from getting to it from a mobile device. We would just love to have a dedicated view of it from a tablet. So that's something we can look for in the future.
Okay. Scott, one more for you. Are the tasks that show up in the mobile app synced with the tasks on the web platform?
They are, real time. So everything I'm seeing in my mobile device, I could be doing a combination of mobile and web real time and switch between the two and see those punches or those hours in both.
Okay. Is there only a mobile app for smartphones, or are there also abilities to be able to use tablets like iPads?
The mobile app will work on a tablet device as most iPhone mobile apps do. Vanessa, I'm going to just double check on the Android side. I'm an iPhone guy, so I don't know for sure. Same thing?
Yes.
Okay, so the Android mobile device will work on an Android tablet as well. So again, it's not a different product today. It will be in the future.
Okay. There's a question about the cost. What is the cost for customers to leverage or access Replicon through mobile devices?
Yeah, Replicon doesn't charge for this capability as a premium. The mobile app is not an additional charge. The ability to use the mobile app is included with your annual contract with our service. The one caveat I'll make to that is obviously the move to Gen 3. So there may be a cost to move to the latest platform for some customers. So we need to evaluate that, but that would be the only cost related to getting the app that we saw today, along with the new features that are coming out from Vanessa.
Okay. And like Scott said, this is the latest and greatest that we've shown you today. There is a question about if customers are on a prior release of Replicon and if there is any support for mobile.
So in the previous versions of our product, we did have a mobile offering, but all of the new development for mobile is focused on our latest product.
Okay. So if you really want to access the latest and greatest, we do encourage you to upgrade to the latest platform. I think that pretty much wraps it up, and I think we've covered everything. I think the major message we'd like to share with you today is, again, if you're not aware if you're on the latest platform with Replicon, then please do contact your account manager, and if you're not aware of your account manager, who that is, you can certainly contact me and I'll direct you to that person, and they can walk you through that. Vanessa mentioned a beta program as well, so we encourage any customers or volunteers for that. You can also certainly send me an email about that in response to the emails you've gotten about this webinar. I'll forward it on to Vanessa. So with that, we'd like to thank you so much for your time today. We'll be ending the broadcast now. Have a wonderful day.